This little critter tried to hitch a ride with me. He's on my chair when I was going to put it in the back of the ute. He crawled up my arm. Anyway, he's not coming with me. Here's his other half. She wanted to come along too. Or he wanted to, whichever way it goes. Come down this track here and the bridge was being washed out. It wasn't a sign either. Didn't want to come through here in the dark. Pretty tame little stream at the moment. There's always a water hole. Cute little spot. Little hamlet of Stewart's Bay. Just up the road from Port Arthur. Nice place to spend a day or two. A little creek flows into the ocean here. Nice bit of surf. Amazing formations along this coastline. This is Maingon Bay, just to the south of Port Arthur. Let's come down here and have a look at the remarkable cave in the ocean there. Wandering down the track here to Remarkable Cave. See what that's all about. A few more stairs. Gonna be a long way back up these stairs. Those are all the glass hanging off the cliff face there. Got a bit of a viewing platform down here. The other side of it. This is a remarkable cave. The ocean's cut a tunnel under the land here. And the roof's probably caved in here. Eventually there is some water come up through there when the wave hits. This rock here is part of the roof which collapsed many moons ago. Another view of Maingon Bay. In the middle of the screen is a remarkable cave. Bumblebee doing a bit of work there. Pretty little flowers growing here on a tiny little bush. Couple of black cockies. Like gelatin wax. More like a tea tree, I think. This is Great Gone Blowhole, a long way down there. Be a few hundred metres, I reckon. Last long in here, I don't reckon if you fell in there. Yeah, as far as I can tell, I'm heading up this here hill. We call a mountain. Station. Sand worn a hole through the fissure in the rock. Gradually widened it. On a good swell, you get a fair bit of moisture spraying out of up here. Makes you wonder how that kelp down there on the rock survives, getting pounding all the time. There's a tribe of people in front of me. Crescent Bay. I'm about halfway up Mount Brown. There's no real track as such. Just got to pick your way up amongst the rocks. Getting a sweat up now. This is a bit of a goat trap going up here. Take it easy, make sure you don't roll all the way back down. I think the end's in sight. As usual, when you think you've made it to the top, there's another rise out here. Maybe that's the end of the trail. Tasman Island out there. There's Tasman Island Lighthouse on the top. That pass through there is the Tasman Pass, and on the left, a bit of coastline's called the Blade. Around here, the highest peak is Arthur's Peak, 313 metres. It's not a bad view up here on Mount Brown, 177 metres high according to my HEMA maps. Well, yeah, it got pretty rough there for a while. It was pretty steep, but yeah, got up over that pace and then it got easy after that. So I'm pretty happy I made it up here. I knew if I didn't do it now, I'd probably never get another chance. And it's a bloody great view. On top of Mount Brown, 177 metres high, apparently. Bought some fruit and nuts up to celebrate the occasion. Looks like the fishermen are returning. Just looking back to where Remarkable Cave is. It's a beautiful sandy beach down there. If you were walking around here before they found this blowhole, you'd wonder what the hell was going on. Probably see a heap of water or vapour rushing out of here. Little lizard sunning himself. There's a little hamlet here called Carnarvon Bay, which is on Carnarvon Bay, which is where the historical site of Port Arthur is. This is one of the buildings on the grounds of Port Arthur, where people from England were brought out for stealing loaves of bread and such. As you with a harsh life here. Some of them were good carpenters, and the slipway in front of that building is where they built ships from hewn pine. This bay here is called Carnarvon Bay. This island here is where they buried some of the dead from the Port Arthur prison days. This is a little hamlet of Newbina in Wedge Bay. Must be a little fishing village, but look at the boats around here. Looks like they've got salmon nets over yonder. Yep. These are the salt marshes of Norfolk Bay. All sorts of plants grow here, and the birds feed off insects and stuff, and some of the plants as well that grow in this bay. This will be the main settlement for the coal miners in Tasmania south. They worked hard around here. Down on their hands and knees in a hole, digging out coal. So they used to mine coal around this area here. The stonemasons must have been pretty good at it back in the day. Would have been pretty good accommodation. Assistant Superintendent and Foreman of Works quarters here, around about 1842. This mass of bricks in here was the coxswain's launch quarters and the clerk's quarters in 1842. This is where the tramway ran from the coal mine to the jetty back in 1834 to cart the coal down to the ships. This was the surgeon's quarters. He had a pretty good view by the looks of it. Just about right on the beach. I'd say the jetty ran off the end here. These convict barracks were built in 1837 after they used to live in roughly built wooden barracks. There was a chapel and a schoolroom between the two blocks, housing 170 convicts. The complex here included yards and a bakehouse, cookhouse and washhouse. Had a stone wall at the back and a log fence in the front. There goes the robin. Grey wall here. This is at the back of the complex. They had 6 or 7 odd people in a room. Convicts. This is the commissarant office quarters in 1842. Looks like they did a bit of gardening with the coal. Around hereabouts was an inclined plane. 740 yards long and a gradient 1 to 11 inches. So they could run a rail down here so the coal wagons could come down without any force by a human variety. So the plane, inclined plane, went up this way. And back in round about 45, I reckon, this is where the convicts actually walked. Up here to the main shaft. There was probably a wallaby on the track up here too, back in the day. This is the main shaft. The 4th of which were dug. This is how they were lowered down the shaft, sitting face to face with another man. The whole shift came down in couples, sitting astride an iron bar with a hook at each end and a rope from the roller passing through the hole in the middle. This was probably a boiler that was used to run the engine to winch the blokes up and down out of the main shaft. The main shaft, whatever this building was all located in the military precinct. Near the back of the officers' quarters on Mount Lupus, which is, I presume, is where I am, is a miniature semaphore which communicates with Mount Stewart, about 1.5 miles away. Just in case they had any trouble, they could get help. This was the officers' quarters. Many of the convicts tried to escape here. You can understand why. Most were recaptured. An unlucky few, or lucky, however you're going to think about it, few were shot by military during the escape attempts. A fellow by the name of Tofi was captured alive. James Hall and George Thomas were 2 escapees who died from what O'Hara Booth described as lead messengers. The convicts who were sent over here from Port Arthur to work the coal mines knew they were in trouble. If they disobey orders around here, they spend a bit of time in one of these cells down here in solitary confinement. Enough to send anybody around a twist. Solitary confinement. They had cells running off the right hand side of this shaft. Wouldn't have been able to see or hear anything, and it was dark. The accommodation next door was about the same, I reckon. Little rooms down the left hand side of the shaft. This is pretty much the size of it. A little bottle of water down there, just to give you some idea. And the acoustics, you wouldn't have heard a thing. You wouldn't have heard your neighbours either. Just enough room in here to roll over, I guess, stretch out and roll over, depending on how tall you were. And there's only a couple of feet or a foot above your head. You couldn't be doing much walking, I don't reckon, in this little 10 in all here. Must have had a few people disobey orders.